It's a really funny thing about memory.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, you probably can't remember what you had for breakfast on Tuesday, right?
I mean, I definitely can.
Right. But I bet you can instantly recall, I don't know, a television commercial you saw maybe 15 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
You can probably sing the jingle, picture the exact colors, maybe even remember how it made you feel. It is essentially mind control hiding in plain sight.
It really does feel like magic sometimes. But, when you look closely at the underlying architecture of that communication, it's actually built on very rigorous, almost mathematical, foundational principles. Principles of, human connection and critical thinking.
Exactly. And today's mission is pulling back the curtain on that mind control. We are going on a journey from the very first spark of a raw idea all the way to a full-blown, future-proof campaign.
Yeah, it's a huge topic.
It is. We've compiled a massive stack of research for this deep dive. We have interactive design reviews, deep dive video essays, but our main guide today is Pete Barry's legendary book, The Advertising Concept Book, specifically the 3rd edition.
Yeah, which is basically the Bible for this stuff.
Totally. And welcome, by the way, to the deep dive. We are so glad you're here.
And the goal here isn't just to, teach you how to sell a product. It's to give you a shortcut to understanding the creative engine behind the media you consume every single day.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because to understand how a great ad finishes, we really have to look at how it starts. And before a campaign can be launched, it has to be conceived.
Right.
But the biggest mistake most people make actually happens on day one. Like before they even have a single idea.
Yeah, that's right. It's this fundamental error of prioritizing the execution over the concept itself. I mean, people want to immediately make something look pretty before they even know what they're actually trying to say.
And Pete Barry illustrates this in such a brilliant, unexpected way. You would think a book about advertising, which is, let's face it, a highly visual, multi-billion-dollar industry, would be packed full of glossy, full-color photographs, right?
You'd assume so, yeah. High-definition screenshots everywhere.
Right. But there are 0 glossy photos in his book. None.
Wait, 0?
Well, you know the book. Yeah, 0. Instead, he uses over 500 hand-drawn pencil sketches. He calls them roughs. And they cover 50 years' worth of international award-winning ads.
What's so fascinating here is the psychological mechanism at play. By stripping away the trendy digital execution like perfect lighting, the high-end photography, the typography Barry forces the work to be judged purely on its conceptual content.
Right.
He operates on this mantra, think now, design later.
Because if the core idea is bad, all the high-end photography in the world isn't going to save it. You're just, putting lipstick on a pig. Yeah.
Precisely. If an idea is truly exceptional, it doesn't need the gloss to prove its worth. Barry actually compares a great advertising concept to a classic little black dress.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, fashions change, trends come and go, but that foundational elegance, that core structure, it will last forever.
There is a really insightful review of Barry's book by an interactive design educator named Andy Pollane that brings this into the modern classroom. He points out that students, and honestly, seasoned professionals too, they cling to software like Photoshop.
Oh, absolutely. It's everywhere.
They treat it like a safety blanket because technical skills feel solid. They feel graspable. You can learn a software menu, you can memorize shortcut keys.
Right, it's tangible.
But true creative development, that feels mushy and subjective and, frankly, scary.
It is the fear of the blank page. I mean, when a creative person feels lost at sea, the drop-down menus in a design program look like a highly structured life belt.
Yeah.
It gives you tasks to do that feel like work but aren't actually generating ideas.
So using Photoshop when you don't have a good idea yet is like grabbing a life belt that actually turns out to be a lead weight.
A lead weight, exactly.
Because it just drags your bad idea down faster.
Yeah.
You've invested hours making it look professional.
That is a highly accurate way to look at it. It provides the illusion of progress without any actual substance.
Sure.
You end up defending a mediocre concept just because you spent, 6 hours getting the drop shadows right.
Which is painful.
It is.
Yeah.
And this is exactly why Barry insists that creatives should start their training in print media. Print is completely unforgiving.
How so?
Well, you don't have motion, you don't have sound effects, you don't have interactive clicks to hide behind. It forces you to learn the fundamentals of concise, static messaging before you ever jump into the moving parts of TV or digital media.
All right, so we've put down the mouse, we've stepped away from the glowing screen, we are sitting at a desk with a blank piece of paper and a pencil.
The scary blank page.
The scary blank page. How do we actually form that raw concept?
Yeah.
It all comes down to ruthless, almost painful simplification. The KISS principle.
Ah, keep it simple, stupid.
Exactly. Keep it simple, stupid.
It is one of the oldest adages in the book, but for a very good reason. The human brain can only process so much information at once.
He's right. And the golden rule here is that a campaign must communicate a single, persuasive, unique selling proposition, a USP. Just one benefit.
One, not two, not five.
Just one. And there's an amazing example from Barry's book where he challenges his students to reduce their proposition down to almost a single word. He takes this clunky, overly literal phrase, position your palms beneath a Brand X hand dryer.
Wow, that is clunky.
Right, and he forces them to compress it.
And through iteration, it becomes the punchy, memorable line, bone dry hands in 15 seconds.
Yes, it's visceral. You can feel what that means immediately. But here's where it gets really interesting, because I want to push back on this a little bit.
Okay, let's hear it.
Put yourself in the shoes of a business owner. Say I've spent 5 years and millions of dollars developing a product, and it has 10 amazing, revolutionary features. My natural instinct is to tell the customer about all of them, right?
Sure, of course.
I want them to know everything they're getting. So why is that such a bad idea?
Well, it is a completely natural instinct, but it directly conflicts with the psychology of the modern consumer. You have to consider the environment your message is entering.
Okay.
We exist in a world where you, the listener, see literally thousands of advertisements every single day. If a brand showcases 10 benefits, they aren't amplifying their message, they're actually weakening it. They're diluting the impact.
Wait, how does giving more information weaken the impact? Aren't people looking for value?
They are, but they're also protecting their cognitive load. In a saturated market, a clear, direct message is the only thing capable of cutting through the noise. Yeah, if you list 10 features, you are forcing the audience to do the work. You are asking them to act as editors, to decipher which of those 10 features actually matters to their specific life.
And people don't want to do that.
And guess what? They won't do it. They will simply scroll past to look at a video of a cat. You must maintain the clarity of the marketing message by isolating that singular, most compelling advantage.
So the single benefit is the hook.
Exactly. The other 9 features are what they discover after they've already decided to buy.
I see. Because I'm asking them to read an instruction manual instead of pitching them a solution to a problem.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so we need a simple, single benefit idea. But that brings us to the actual generation phase. How do creatives actually find that one brilliant nugget? They can't just sit in a beanbag chair waiting for lightning to strike, right? They have deadlines.
Right. Creativity in this context cannot rely on accidental inspiration. It has to be an industrial process.
An industrial process.
Yeah. The creative process is generally broken down into 2 highly distinct phases: pure brainstorming and refinement.
And that first phase, pure brainstorming, is the no bad ideas zone. This is where you use mind maps, word association, free thinking.
Exactly. You aren't judging the ideas, you are just exudating them.
Which brings us to a highly practical framework Barry introduces, called the 1 in 10 tool.
Yeah, the 1 in 10 tool.
It sounds like a gimmick, but it is actually built on the fundamental mathematical principle of probability.
It requires generating a massive volume of ideas simply to increase the statistical likelihood of striking gold.
Right. I was watching a video breakdown of this that used a baseball analogy, and I think it perfectly captures the reality of the job.
Oh, the batting average one?
Yeah. They pointed out that if a Major League Baseball player is batting .300, they are considered incredibly successful. They might even make the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
But batting .300 literally means they are failing to get a hit 70% of the time. Does this mean creatives just need to accept failure as the baseline and take more swings?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that analogy is incredibly profound. In baseball, a .300 average doesn't mean you are just swinging blindly.
Right.
It means you are tracking the pitch, adjusting your swing, and failing 70% of the time specifically to calibrate your stance. Brainstorming works using the exact same mechanism.
Let me stop you there, though. Because if I'm a client paying an ad agency a massive retainer, and I hear they're using a 1 in 10 tool, I'm thinking, wait, am I paying you for 9 bad ideas just to get one good one?
It sounds bad when you say it like that.
Right. Isn't that a massive waste of billable hours?
It feels like a waste only if you view idea generation and idea evaluation as the exact same step. But it is vital to separate them.
How so?
When you embrace the 1 in 10 tool, you accept that 9 of your ideas will be terrible. Getting those bad ideas out of your head and onto the paper is not a waste of time. It is a necessary mathematical step to uncovering the brilliant ones.
You have to clear the cognitive pipes.
Exactly. You are putting terrible ideas on paper, specifically to figure out where your mental swing is missing the mark. If you try to only generate good ideas, you will edit yourself into paralysis.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
Huh.
The bad ideas are the stepping stones to the good one. So you've done the math, you've cleared the pipes, you've calibrated your swing, you've found your 1 in 10 golden idea, and you've refined it into a single benefit.
Now comes the fun part.
Right, now you actually have to build the front door of the ad. You have to combine the words and the pictures.
The headline and the visual. These are the two elements that do the heaviest lifting in capturing human attention.
And it is explicitly clear in the book that the headline isn't just a place for cute wordplay or a pun, it is a strategic hook.
Yeah, puns rarely work as well as people think they do.
Definitely. It has to highlight that single unique selling proposition we talked about, and it uses emotion or curiosity to actively pull the audience into the narrative.
But the headline cannot stand alone. The ultimate goal, the holy grail of creative execution, is achieving synergy between the text and the imagery.
Synergy. Apple's iconic Think Different campaign is always brought up as the prime example of this.
Oh, it's a classic.
You have these striking black and white images of historical geniuses, rebels, misfits people like Einstein or Martin Luther King Jr., and paired with them are just two simple words: think different.
The synergy mechanism there is amazing.
It really is. The words completely recontextualize the images, and the images give monumental weight to the words.
Exactly. If you just saw a picture of Einstein, you might think it's a history documentary.
Right.
And if you just read the words think different on a blank page, it sounds like generic corporate jargon.
Like a motivational poster.
Yeah, exactly. But together, they create an unforgettable, unified message. The visual backs up the headline, and the headline explains the visual. Neither element is doing all the work. They multiply each other's effectiveness.
So who is actually in charge of that synergy? Historically, there are copywriters who handle the text and art directors who handle the visuals. Does the copywriter serve the art director, or is it the other way around?
That is an age-old industry debate. But Barry deliberately avoids prioritizing one discipline over the other.
He does.
Yeah, he argues that the absolute best advertisements happen when those distinct disciplines overlap. When the copywriter is thinking visually and the art director is thinking narratively.
Oh, I see.
They use metaphors and symbolism collaboratively, ensuring that the text and the visual are essentially two halves of the exact same puzzle.
Okay, let's zoom out again. You have this perfect synergized concept. The headline is punchy, the visual is arresting. But if you fire it out into the world blindly, or if the client kills the idea in the boardroom before it even gets made, all of that brilliant pencil sketching falls apart.
The concept is only as strong as its delivery mechanism and the strategy behind how it reaches its intended audience.
Think about how we actually deliver this idea. It feels like you have two choices. You either grab a shotgun or a sniper rifle.
That's a good analogy from the sources.
Traditional media things like television commercials, radio, print magazines, they act like a shotgun blast. They spray the message out widely for broad brand awareness. You are hitting a mass audience, but you aren't being very precise.
And on the flip side, digital and social media act as a sniper rifle.
Right.
Because of the data. Digital platforms allow for precise targeting based on extremely granular consumer behavior, search intent, and demographics.
Right. You aren't just reaching adults 18 to 49. You're reaching adults 18 to 49 who recently searched for hiking boots and listened to indie folk music.
Exactly. It's incredibly specific.
The best campaigns obviously integrate both. The shotgun to build a brand identity and the sniper rifle to drive precise engagement. I'm curious about the human element here.
Okay.
If I'm a young creative student trying to build a portfolio to get hired at an agency, should I be proving that I can use the shotgun or the sniper rifle?
If we look at Barry's specific advice for student portfolios, he emphasizes quality over quantity. He advises keeping your portfolio compact, but demonstrating versatility across all media: print, interactive, social, and ambient media.
Let me pause you. What exactly is ambient media? Is that like elevator music?
Good question. No, ambient media refers to placing ads in unusual real-world environments where people don't expect to see them.
Like where?
Think of a crosswalk painted to look like French fries, or a bus stop transformed into an oven to advertise a bakery. It's experiential.
Oh, guerrilla marketing, basically.
Exactly. And the key isn't mastering one specific medium, whether it's an ambient bus stop or a targeted Instagram ad. It's proving that your core idea, that single simple benefit you identified, is robust enough that it works no matter which weapon you fire it from.
That makes perfect sense. A great concept scales.
It has to.
But before you can fire any weapon, you have to survive the pitch. You have to get the client to say yes. And you can't just walk in, drop a brilliant sketch on the table, and expect a standing ovation. You have to anticipate their objections.
Pitching is entirely about managing client expectations from the very beginning. You are managing human psychology just as much as you are managing creative assets.
Right.
You have to establish a clear foundation for your creative reasoning early on to foster consensus.
Give me an example of how that works mechanically in a room. Like if I'm the creative and you're the client, how do I stop you from ruining my idea?
It starts by agreeing on the problem before you reveal the solution. You walk into the pitch and say, "We agreed the single benefit we need to communicate is speed," correct? The client says yes.
Okay.
Then when you reveal the sketch and the client inevitably says, "I don't like the color blue, make it red," you don't argue about color theory.
You don't.
No. You say, "We can make it red, but blue communicates the clinical efficiency and speed we agreed was our core message. Red communicates urgency and panic. Do we want our brand to feel panic?"
Ah. You use the strategy as a shield. You tie the subjective creative choice directly back to the objective business goal.
Precisely. And importantly, the process doesn't end with a successful pitch. Once the campaign is live, the modern advertising landscape requires constant refinement. You must utilize key performance indicators, or KPIs, and A/B testing.
And A/B testing is where you run two slightly different versions of the ad to see which one performs better, right? How does that dynamically alter the campaign?
Mechanically, you might send version A of a digital ad to 50,000 people and version B to another 50,000.
Okay.
Version A says, "Buy now." Version B says, "Learn more." You track the data in real time. If version B gets double the clicks, you immediately pull all your funding from version A and pour it into version B.
Wow.
Yeah, you are constantly optimizing the ad once it is in the wild, using real-world data to tighten the messaging.
That is fascinating. The ad is almost alive, shifting based on how people react to it. Which brings us to the shifting landscape of the industry itself. We've mapped out the anatomy of a great ad, from the raw brainstorm to the pitch and the real-time A/B optimization. But the environment these ads live in is evolving at an unbelievable speed.
The technological evolution of the industry is accelerating, and it is reshaping every phase of the process we've just discussed.
There are three major trends doing this right now. First, obviously, is artificial intelligence, which is enabling mass personalization at a scale we've never seen.
Yep.
Second, you have augmented reality and a virtual reality creating deeply immersive brand experiences. And third, there is a massive shift in consumer expectations. People are demanding transparency, authenticity, and actual social responsibility from brands.
Add to that the complexities of modern data privacy regulations. Laws like GDPR in Europe or the CCPA in California are fundamentally changing how consumer information is collected and handled.
Let's talk about the mechanism there. How does a privacy law actually change the creative process we just spent 20 minutes dissecting?
Think back to the sniper rifle analogy. That highly targeted digital approach completely relies on tracking a user's every move, knowing their search history, and understanding their habits.
Right.
Because GDPR and CCPA limit that tracking, that sniper rifle is suddenly losing its scope. The lens is getting blurry.
Oh, wow. So if I can't rely on hyper-targeted data to just brute force my way to the right customer, what do I do?
You have to rely on the power of the idea again. You have to craft a message so universally compelling, so fundamentally sound, that it captures attention without needing to creepily track the user's browser history.
It all comes back to the pencil sketch. But with AI moving so fast, are these fundamental rules, the 1 in 10 tool, the KISS principle, are they going to become obsolete? Because, AI can brainstorm 1,000 ideas in 5 seconds.
This raises an important question. Perhaps the most critical question for the future of the industry. As technology makes advertising more automated and entirely data-driven, how will the messily, beautifully human spark of creativity survive?
Yeah, how does it?
The consensus from the experts is that AI is an incredible tool for optimizing delivery. It can analyze the A/B testing data, it can target the audience, it can even generate decent copy variations.
But
But the initial authentic human connection, that raw concept drawn in pencil, requires empathy. It requires an understanding of the human condition, of humor, of irony, of shared cultural struggle.
AI doesn't have that.
Right. AI relies on historical data to predict the next word. It does not feel the cognitive friction of a bad day or the relief of a good product. And that empathy is the one thing machines cannot authentically replicate.
So what does this all mean? We've talked a lot about how easy it is to hide behind the glossy Photoshop finish and how the real power lies in the raw, hand-drawn concept. But if you take a step back and look at where this is all heading, it paints a really fascinating picture for anyone trying to build a brand or communicate an idea.
It really does. If we extrapolate the current technological trends, AI is eventually going to master the sniper rifle of digital targeting completely. Furthermore, it can already instantly generate that flawless, glossy Photoshop finish that so many creatives have historically used as a crutch.
Yeah, in seconds.
Right. If the machine can do all the polishing in seconds for free, does that mean the rough, hand-drawn, mushy, and scary conceptual pencil sketch actually becomes the only true competitive advantage humans have left in the business world?
That is a staggering thought to end on. When the execution becomes free and instant, the only currency left is the human idea itself. We want to say a massive thank you for joining us on this deep dive today.
Yes, thank you for listening.
We've covered a lot of ground, from the psychology of why 10 features will make you scroll away, to the math of clearing your brain of bad ideas. We hope that the next time you're scrolling on your phone and an ad makes you stop or smile or think, you'll be able to look right past the glossy pixels and see the invisible pencil sketch hiding just beneath the surface.